Super. Q1 Board of Advisors.
Let's go.
Yeah, Forrest Hayes and Matt Chang in Dallas at the Ritz-Carlton. How you doing, Forrest?
Doing well. Matthew, how are you?
I'm having a great time. I'm already getting into entrepreneur's overload, which happens every time I'm here.
Yes.
How about you?
It's thorough.
Yeah, I'm going to turn off the new ideas in about 2 more hours. I got 2 hours left of new ideas. So
that's it. So let's talk venture and let's talk some of the great things that are happening in Jacksonville. There's a lot of opportunity out there, and with Chang Robotics being based in Jacksonville, you've made a obvious and significant contribution to that city and to revive its venture capitalist spirit. Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing and what's going on there?
Revive is kind. Yep. So I live in Jacksonville, Duval, as they call it. My family lives in Jacksonville Beach, and for the last 3 years, I've been leading and hosting the Jacksonville Venture Competition, which is a conference structured around promoting venture capital ecosystem in Jacksonville. So we really focus on 2 sides. We focus on the founders, and then we focus on recruiting venture capital companies to come to town to create more investment opportunities. So that's kind of the way we've been doing it, and it's been very successful. We have attracted investors to Jacksonville. We've relocated the Southeast's largest angel-backed venture fund to the town. And then we've really been able to spotlight a lot of startups and their founders.
That's key.
Yeah, I think the biggest learning from it all is I can say with confidence, Jacksonville produces amazing startups because Jacksonville has amazing founders.
That's great.
Yeah.
Very cool. And you're the founder of Chang Robotics, so conveniently, you've been working on a bunch of innovative and very cool things, which is part of the reason that attracted me. I met you here at BA back in May, and I heard what you were doing, and we started talking for a few months, and we got into things, and we've since launched a fund.
Now we're partners.
At
Chang Robotics, we basically install robot systems into the workforce. We do that for big companies, the Fortune 500. We do it for governments. We've partnered with state and federal governments for that.
Right.
And then most recently, we've launched a healthcare practice. So we're now about 2.5 years into that. And this year, that's going to be a main focus of the business is helping to automate healthcare.
Very cool. And we've written some white papers, done some research. So there's all that kind of knowledge backing it with some of our partners like Don Capner and others who have helped write the, some of the thesis and other things that you've.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of our secret weapons that is not secret because I tell people they just don't copy it is we hire, basically brilliant people from academia. So we've got 2 now retired deans at our company, and that gives us an ability to generate research and IP at a breakneck pace.
Yeah, absolutely. And the partnerships you've kind of built across the university landscape.
Yep.
From Northwestern to.
Yep, we have a research partner. We have a laboratory at Jacksonville University for robotics. We have mainly a chemistry-based laboratory, excuse me, in Northwestern University on their innovation campus, and then we have research contracts with groups like BYU and Georgia Tech. We work across academia pretty quick, and we kind of know how to get in and get out. That's the key there. We're not trying to make somebody's tenure, obviously.
Sure.
We want to partner with them, use their equipment, their technology, their expertise, or in other cases, they have IP they've been developing for, say, a decade.
Right.
And they need somebody to take it out and commercialize it in the industry. So we do that too.
Perfect. And then we started talking about some of the different opportunities with some of these startups and kind of pre-seed, early seed rounds. And it caught my attention. Obviously, I love startups. You want to see the American economy do well. You want to see local businesses thrive. And some of these game-changing ideas that have come across your table, so to speak, have been very impressive early on. And you've kind of adopted your own philosophy and ability to assess and basically identify what those next investments need to be, because the world's changing at breakneck pace. You've got AI literally reinventing itself month over month. You've got digital assets competing with everybody's attention. Where do people invest, from real estate to tokenization and everything else? But when we look at what Chang Robotics Fund is doing, we're looking at some of the best potential startups that have created this IP and this tech that you think can be deployed out into the marketplace with an elegant product fit that is scalable and addressing some of the nation's most critical issues, from labor shortage to environmental remediation. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, our three main problems we're looking to solve are workforce challenges,
Right.
Environmental, what's good for the long haul in this country and the globe, and then energy.
Energy, yeah.
And so energy has been a big topic. It's a topic when it's out, when it's not working. And so the solution to that is more localization, right? We need more local energy solutions. So the companies that we are going to fund through the Chang Robotics Fund are doing just that. They have local energy solutions that makes us more flexible, resilient. We can respond to disasters.
Right.
So we think that is powerful for both the average citizen and then certain groups of the U.S. government that need to be resilient, in a war theater or a remote operation. When we think about the workforce, if we're going to make things in this country, we have to empower our workers to have higher skills and do more. And so that doesn't mean people should be picking up boxes every day for a living.
Right.
We need to find technologies that are going to take the workforce into the next generation.
100%.
And then for the environment, I mean, we have science, we have technology, we have robotics. There are opportunities to really clean up the environment, to produce energy more cleanly,
Yes.
to remediate environmental hazards. And the population is growing, industrialization continues to grow, and we can do that and be greener. So that's our thesis, it's how we view the world, and the companies we're picking fit within that.
Amen. Perfect.
So let me reverse it on you, Forrest. So you're a 2 decades investment banker, right?
Asset management and banking, yes.
All right, and then at your peak, if I understand it, you were the guy that banked the banks.
Correct. We banked banks in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. And then when I was living in Singapore, I helped build out the investors platform, which meant that we were able to sell financial market products to them, which previously we hadn't done before. So we were one of the last kind of large FTSE 100 systemically important banks that didn't really have the financial institution client base because of the historic nature of the corporate strategy and the trade bank mentality.
Yeah. The first time you told me that, my brain melted. I'm an engineer. So when I think of the bank, that's a place I go to get money out or to do a transaction. But you actually made a business of being a bank that backed up other famous banks that we all hear about.
Correct.
Right? To get that expertise, what sort of licenses and professional requirements go into having people trust you with that type of financial responsibility?
Sure. So FINRA, which is the licensing and regulatory arm of the SEC, I have my Series 24, which allows me to manage other regulated individuals who give advice regarding financial markets or financial products. I also have my 63 and my 79. And that allows me to basically give advice under a broker-dealer license if I were to go back and work at a broker-dealer, for example. But those are just passing a test. I know you like to take tests, pass tests too. It's one of those things that makes everybody feel more comfortable that you're capable. And it's important because when you get into negotiations with the likes of a JP Morgan or Northern Trust or a BBH and you're doing business in 10 markets in Africa and 5 markets in Asia, you need to understand the regulatory landscape, not only with the US and the UK government, which are always in our lap at the time, because that's who our biggest regulators were, but then also you have to reach into those local markets and get people to cooperate and make sure that your systems are able to communicate across the different regulatory landscapes. And it was a very unique time because there was a lot of extraterritorial regulation that was introduced out of Europe that made the banking world miserable.
Yeah,
to be honest.
At the end of the day, that high trust environment, and then that high regulation environment, isn't that why foreign investors like the U.S. market?
Very much so.
Because you get people like yourself that
100%.
Are keeping an eye on all the money and how it moves?
Correct.
Okay. So yeah, just to go back to the time when you and I met, I was still putting together the framework of what's now the Chang Robotics Fund. And then I was blown away by your resume because I couldn't understand it in one meeting. It was just too much breadth.
Thank you.
And then it wasn't many months later you called and said you'd be interested in joining the fund, which to me was a very high compliment. But can you walk me through that thought process of why after this bank the banks position you decide you want to join the Chang Robotics Fund?
I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and when I actually met one that I respected and admired, and the faith-based approach that you took, the good Lord said, you should be partnering with these type of people. You should be working with this individual. And your ambition, your vision, and the ability to articulate exactly what we're doing was key to me, because I don't understand the engineering space, but I can build you a fund in 90 days or less.
Which you did.
Which I did. And so
let me get this straight. You met me, you decided the vision was compelling enough, you agreed with the leadership, you liked the principles, such as we are a tithing venture capital company.
Correct, even though I pushed against it at first.
That's all right. I'm happy to arm wrestle with you on that one.
Yes.
But were you the first fund you looked at?
It was, actually.
But I thought in your position, you're a general partner at Fund Launch, right?
So yeah, I'm on the executive team at Fund Launch, and I've run Black Card for them, yes.
Yeah, so how many funds do you get to look at?
In the past year, probably 500.
Okay, so you saw 500 funds.
Different thesis, different things.
And then the first one you took a deep dive on was ours?
Correct.
And then you and I teamed up, and we're now partners in the venture?
Correct.
Yeah, that sounds like a match. So, like I told you, I'm deeply humbled by you deciding to join us. I think it's a testament, to possibly what we're putting together here. I think our iron sharpens iron too, because I do think we probably had some rough edges when you met us, and you did a good job kind of trimming those off or hacking those off for us.
Thank you.
So how bullish are you on this? You see the companies that we're picking, that they're solving global problems, they have proprietary tech, and then we can be an engineering firm to help them deliver, help them scale up their business. How bullish are you on the overall concept?
100%. I wouldn't be here otherwise. It's very simple. The compelling vision, the ability to help serve and create at the same time is very unique. And I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Well, it's feelings mutual. So you also study the financial markets, right?
Correct.
Kind of a news junkie on that. Over the last, call it 3 years or so, how has venture performed as a category?
Not very well, to be fair. I think our timing is actually quite good because there's a bit of fatigue there. And because we're not your traditional ESG, which nobody likes anymore, or impact fund, it's different. This is a positive technology play on disruptive solutions where you've won national awards evidencing the capacity that Chang Robotics can deliver, which is why Fortune 500 companies come to you. So when you can take that and apply it to a pre-seed startup and just fast forward 5 years, this is the type of environment I want my children to grow up in. That's the type of environment I want your children to grow up in.
Absolutely.
And that's the reason. The good Lord put us here to meet, to work together, and to change the world we live in a way that is in a fund vehicle, which I happen to be an expert at, and you happen to be the expert engineer. So it was a match made in heaven.
All right. Well, let's go help some founders build their dreams.
Let's go,
what do you
man.
say? Thanks, bud.
Thanks, man.
Okay.